Welcome back. Let's look at challenge number 2. Eddie has to do 100 math questions in 7 days. He does at least one question on the first day, and each day he does no less than he did on the previous day. He has done a total of 30 questions in the first 3 days. Let's look at the important part of the question. On each day, he does no less than he did on the previous day. What does this phrase mean? Let's give an example. It means that, for example, on the first day, if Eddie did 10 questions, then on the second day, he can do 10 questions because it's equal. See, no less. No less means more than or equal to. So 10 can be 10 questions, or 11, or 12, or 13, ... It can be 90, right? Because as long as it's the question on the second day is more than the question on the first day, it's okay. Clear my drawings. Now, since the question is split up into 2 parts, I'll draw a line here for you guys, for it to be easier to be seen. Now, the first question is, on the 4th day, he can do a maximum of how many questions and a minimum of how many questions. So first, let's see the maximum situation, maximum. So in order for the 4th day to be maximum, we have to let the later 4 days to be as equal as possible to each other. So how many questions do we have for the next 4 days? We have 100 minus the 30 questions he has already done, which gives us 70 questions. So to make the 4 numbers as equal to each other as possible, we divide 70 by 4, giving us a 17 with a remainder of 2. So let's write down. So 417 with the 2 as a remainder. So we can either add this 2 to one of the 17 or split it up into 2 1 and add into 2 17s. So let's consider, it actually doesn't matter because this is the 4th day. The 4th day, the number of questions done on the 4th day doesn't change. It's always 17, so we can write it here first. So it's either 17, 17, 18, 18, or 17, 17, 17, 19. Doesn't matter, right? It's always 17 on the 4th day. Now, let me erase this. And actually, I'll just leave one correct situation here. I like 18, 18 actually. And then let's look at the minimum. Now, actually, I'll just use another color. I'll use red here. Minimum. So for minimum, what we want is we want the first 3 days, the number of questions done on the first 3 days to be as equal to each other as possible. And in this case, very fortunate, they can be equal because it's no less, remember? So 30 divided by 3 is 10. So 10 questions equal in the first 3 days. 10, 10, 10. And also no less. So on the 4th day, we can still do 10 questions. Right? So let me write it in a clearer way. So 1st day, 2nd day, 3rd day, and 4th day. They can all be 10 because they're all equal, no less, right? So we have our minimum on the 4th day, which is 10 questions. Let's switch back to blue and consider the maximum of the second part. If the number of questions done on each day is different, so we cannot have repeating digits like 17, 17, then on the 4th day, he can do a maximum of how many questions and a minimum of how many questions. So let's write it down here. Maximum. So we cannot use same digits, but we are still looking for a maximum. So we can use the same operation here, like we can use a similar combination. We can still write 17, 17, 18, 18 here. What we do here is -1 and the +1 here, so that we make all these all 4 digits different from each other. So 16, 17, 18, and 19. They still add up to 70. They still add up to the same number. They're just not different. They're just not same anymore. So this is the 4th day. And this is the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th day. So we have our minimum 16. Maximum is 16. And the minimum, let me switch to red. So for a minimum, we do the same operation as we did in the first part. We want to make the number of questions done in the first 3 days as equal to each other as possible, except that in this time, we have to make them different. So we copy the 10, 10, 10 here, 10, 10, 10, and we do the same operation here to make them different to each other. So 9, 10, and 11. And remember, this is the first, the second, and the 3rd day. This 11 is not the 4th day, okay? The 4th day has to be different, and more is 12. So the minimum of questions that can be done on the 4th day is 12, which is the answer to this question. So that is all for challenge 2.